if we bring up your wife, Heidi Cruz, if you'll join us here with your husband, Heidi Cruz. You know, no one knows this man better than you, Mrs. Cruz. But first of all, I read somewhere that at the age of 8, you fell in love with politics. That there was some. What was it?
Well, I think what I may have said is I fell in love with business when I was a young child. My parents had my brother and I started business. And I learned very quickly that it's good to have less regulation rather than more. In fact, we had a thriving little bread business and we thought of expanding it, but it caused us to have to do a lot of regulatory things, and so we stayed small. But I did become interested in politics, to answer your question, and I think the beginning of it was sitting selling bread behind my bread stand, reading Time magazine. And I used to read that magazine when I was a kid, and I followed the elections, the early elections in the 80s. And then my parents took us to see a lot of things, and we went to visit Washington, D.C., like a lot of families do. And I saw what an incredible potential that the houses of Congress, the executive branch, our judicial branch have to lead this country, and I became interested.
If your husband is elected, if you're living there on Pennsylvania Avenue, what would be your focus as First Lady?
Well, as I've said before, we are in the middle of an intense primary, and we are working hard to earn the support of Republican primary voters, and it's been an exciting process. We've had an incredible success, and it's easy to campaign for Ted. So we have not spent a lot of time on my agenda. I've had a very simplified job description, which is to help Ted win. But I do have interests, and I think one of the greatest honors of being Ted's partner in this is being able to do things that have the greatest needs in this country. And Ted and I have always agreed that school choice would be the very top of that agenda, that when kids have the opportunity for an education, a terrific education, it's what gave so many of us our start.